Do you think sleeping more is healthy? You might be increasing your risk of stroke without even knowing it. We often hear that sleep is nature's recovery medicine. It helps detox the brain, restore energy, and strengthen the immune system. But what if you're sleeping too much? It's not just staying up late that concerns health experts these days. It's oversleeping. Recent studies reveal that sleeping more than 9 hours per night can significantly raise your risk of stroke, especially in middle-aged and older adults. So the big question is, could your extra sleep be silently cutting off your heart and brain health? In today's video, we'll decode the hidden risks behind excessive sleep, and more importantly, uncover how much sleep is just right to protect your brain and cardiovascular system. Take a moment to reflect. Do you often sleep in late on weekends? Have you ever taken a 2-3 hour nap, only to wake up feeling groggy, foggy, and unfocused? If this sounds familiar and happens frequently, it could be your body's way of sending you a warning. Many people assume that sleeping more is simply making up for lost sleep during the week. But in reality, getting more than 9 to 10 hours of total sleep per day, especially through long daytime naps, may actually disrupt your circadian rhythm. This throws off your biological clock, causes blood pressure spikes, creates heart rate irregularities, and reduces the flexibility of your blood vessels, all of which are major stroke risk factors. Large-scale epidemiological studies have shown that people who sleep more than 9 hours per night have a 23% to 85% higher risk of stroke compared to those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. That's a shocking number, and a reminder that too much sleep can be just as risky as too little, especially for your heart and brain health. In this video article, we'll dive deep into the biological mechanisms behind excessive sleep, why it can disrupt blood flow to your brain, and what's really happening inside your body when you feel tired all the time, even after long sleep. Is it just regular fatigue? Or is it a red flag signaling an underlying cardiovascular or neurological issue? Even more importantly, we'll hear from leading neurologists and cardiologists. What do they think about the newest studies? How reliable is the scientific evidence? And who should be most cautious about abnormal oversleeping? You'll also learn how to build a healthy sleep routine, one that gives your body the rest it needs without slipping into the danger zone of chronic fatigue, inflammation, and stroke risk. If you, or someone you love, tends to oversleep but still wakes up feeling exhausted, mentally foggy, or low energy, don't ignore those signs. They could be your body's early cry for help, because when a stroke happens, it's often too late to undo the damage. Let's get ahead of it by understanding the real science behind sleep. What does the research say? When numbers speak, we'd be wise to listen. Let's begin by looking directly at the hard scientific evidence. A large-scale cohort study, published in some of the world's top medical journals, followed the health of tens of thousands of adults over several years. The results? Eye-opening, both for experts and the public. The first danger zone, people who regularly sleep more than 9 hours per night, were found to have a 23% higher risk of stroke compared to those who sleep 7 to 8 hours, the range considered ideal. Long naps during the day. The risk didn't stop at nighttime sleep. Daytime naps longer than 90 minutes were also associated with a similar increase in stroke risk. The compounding effect? When both factors were combined, excessive nighttime sleep and long daytime naps, the risk of stroke skyrocketed to as high as 85%. That's a number that should give anyone pause. Quality may matter more than quantity. Even those who got enough hours of sleep but reported poor sleep quality, like trouble falling asleep, frequent awakenings, or waking up still tired, were found to have a 29% higher risk of stroke. These numbers aren't meant to scare you. They're a wake-up call, reminding us how critical sleep truly is to protecting brain health. A stroke or cerebrovascular accident is a serious medical emergency. It occurs when blood flow to part of the brain is cut off, or when a blood vessel in the brain bursts. The result? Irreversible brain cell damage, often leading to disability or even death. Is too much sleep the cause or a symptom? Here's the big question that scientists are still trying to answer. Is oversleeping itself the direct cause of damage to our blood vessels? Or is it merely a symptom, a signal that something deeper is already wrong in the body? Most experts currently lean toward the second hypothesis. That is, sleeping too much isn't necessarily the root cause of stroke, but more often, it's an early warning sign of a serious underlying health condition, and it's that hidden issue that's the real culprit. In other words, your body may be sleeping more because it's already dealing with silent inflammation, poor cardiovascular function, or neurological decline, long before a stroke actually happens. This makes awareness and prevention more important than ever. Let's take a closer look at the biggest underlying culprits behind oversleeping. 1. Silent chronic inflammation, the invisible fire within mechanism. Low-grade chronic inflammation has been proven to increase the risk of both heart disease and stroke. Common triggers include high-sugar diets, ultra-processed foods, obesity, chronic stress, or autoimmune disorders. Linked to sleep. When the body is in a state of inflammation, it has to work overtime to restore balance. This process often leads to the release of sleep-inducing cytokines, which is why many people with chronic inflammation feel fatigued and tend to oversleep. Ironically, oversleeping itself may further elevate inflammation markers in some individuals, creating a vicious cycle. 2. Metabolic syndrome, the hidden saboteur mechanism. This syndrome refers to a cluster of conditions: abdominal obesity, high blood pressure, abnormal blood sugar levels, prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, and dyslipidemia. Together, they accelerate atherosclerosis and greatly increase the risk of stroke. Linked to sleep. People with metabolic syndrome often experience chronic fatigue and may sleep longer, but both too much and too little sleep can disrupt metabolism further, intensifying the condition and worsening long-term health outcomes. 3. Hidden cardiovascular disease, the deceptive friend of sleep mechanism. Many heart conditions, such as congestive heart failure, arrhythmias, or silent coronary artery disease, can quietly reduce blood flow to vital organs, especially the brain. When oxygen delivery is compromised, the body responds with persistent fatigue, encouraging longer periods of rest and sleep. Linked to sleep. Ongoing exhaustion from poor heart function is a common reason why patients sleep more than usual. Alarmingly, these silent cardiovascular conditions are among the top causes of ischemic stroke, often resulting from blood clots formed in the heart and traveling to the brain. 4. Sleep apnea, the silent disruptor of rest mechanism. Obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, occurs when the airway becomes partially or completely blocked during sleep, interrupting breathing and oxygen intake. Every apnea episode puts immense stress on the cardiovascular system, raising blood pressure and increasing stroke risk. Linked to sleep. People with OSA may sleep for enough hours, but still feel tired due to poor sleep quality. To compensate, they often take long naps or extend nighttime sleep, which unfortunately doesn't fix the problem and may worsen it over time. 5. Depression and mental health disorders. When emotional fatigue becomes physical mechanism. Depression doesn't just affect mood, it also alters biological pathways, including increased inflammation and impaired vascular health, both of which heighten stroke risk. Linked to sleep. Sleep disturbance is a hallmark symptom of depression. While some individuals suffer from insomnia, others experience hypersomnia, sleeping excessively as a coping mechanism to escape emotional or physical exhaustion. 6. Physical inactivity and sedentary habits, fueling the fatigue loop mechanism. A sedentary lifestyle is a known contributor to obesity, insulin resistance, hypertension, and metabolic dysfunction, all of which increase cardiovascular and stroke risk. Linked to sleep. The less active you are, the more likely you are to feel fatigued during the day, which often leads to longer or fragmented sleep. Unfortunately, that rest doesn't truly restore energy. It simply perpetuates the cycle of inactivity and declining health. Lack of exercise and the fatigue sleep spiral. When it comes to sleep, people who are physically inactive tend to experience low energy, persistent sluggishness, and an increased desire to sleep more than usual. This creates a dangerous cycle. The less you move, the more tired you feel. The more tired you are, the more you sleep, and over time, your overall health steadily declines. Oversleeping isn't just a habit. It could be a red flag. As we've explored, extended sleep isn't always a matter of laziness or poor discipline. In many cases, it's your body's way of silently crying out for help, signaling that something deeper may be wrong. And if you choose to ignore it or simply try to cut back on sleep without investigating the root cause, it's like silencing a fire alarm without putting out the fire. The danger still exists, and it may strike when you least expect it. Listen to your body. Respond early to excessive sleepiness. If you consistently sleep more than 9 hours at night or take unusually long naps during the day, but still feel exhausted upon waking, it's time to seriously reflect on a few critical areas. Diet. Ask yourself, are you consuming too much processed food, refined sugar, or unhealthy fats? Try shifting toward a diet rich in vegetables, fresh fruit, high-quality protein, and healthy fats like omega-3s. Physical activity. Are you moving enough? Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, such as brisk walking, swimming, or cycling. Stress levels. Evaluate your emotional load. Is it time to implement some stress relief habits like meditation, yoga, reading, or simply talking to someone you trust? Sleep environment and routine. Is your bedroom dark, quiet, and cool? Are you going to bed and waking up at consistent times? Good sleep hygiene can greatly improve your energy levels. Addressing these areas can help uncover hidden imbalances and restore your energy naturally without relying solely on sleep. Don't wait for symptoms to escalate. Preventive checkups are key. Regular checkups are one of the most effective ways to protect your long-term health. If you've noticed unusual sleep patterns, such as sleeping too much, struggling with poor sleep quality, or waking up still tired, don't hesitate to bring it up with your doctor. Pay special attention to other symptoms that may accompany excessive sleep, such as persistent fatigue, shortness of breath during light activity, unexplained dizziness or headaches, noticeable weight gain or loss, loud snoring or signs of sleep apnea, often noticed by a partner. Depending on your symptoms, your physician may recommend medical tests to assess your stroke risk, blood pressure, monitoring, comprehensive blood tests, glucose, lipid panel, liver and kidney function, inflammation markers, electrocardiogram, ECG, to check for heart rhythm abnormalities. If sleep apnea is suspected, they might suggest a sleep study, polysomnography, or a specialized heart ultrasound. If you have an underlying condition, take it seriously. If you've been diagnosed with chronic conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, or mental health issues like depression, strictly follow your doctor's treatment plan. Properly managing these conditions not only improves your overall well-being, but also significantly reduces your long-term stroke risk. Upgrade your sleep hygiene for better nights. A few adjustments to your sleep routine can make a big difference. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Keep your bedroom quiet, cool, and dark to support natural melatonin release. Avoid stimulants like caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine in the hours leading up to bedtime. Minimize screen time before bed. The blue light from phones and TVs can disrupt your circadian rhythm. Create a calming bedtime ritual. Reading, listening to soft music, meditating, or taking a warm bath can help you ease into restful sleep. If your sleep has become a lingering question mark for your health, don't wait. Be proactive. Pay attention, seek answers, and take meaningful action. Sleep is a partner, not a problem, when you understand it. The connection between excessive sleep and stroke is a powerful reminder. The human body is a complex, intelligent system. Even small changes can be meaningful signals. Oversleeping isn't inherently bad, but when it's persistent and paired with fatigue, sluggishness, or low energy, it may be your body's way of crying out for help. Rather than worrying, take action. Reassess your habits, your diet, activity level, stress management, and especially your sleep. Most importantly, be willing to listen to your body and consult with trusted medical professionals. Long-term health requires more than hope. It requires commitment and smart choices. Prevention will always be more powerful than treatment, especially in the case of stroke, where minutes can determine outcomes. The sooner you recognize red flags, the more effectively you can protect your brain from irreversible damage. When you understand the role of sleep in the broader picture of your health, you'll see it for what it truly is, a loyal, essential ally. In summary, if you're sleeping more than usual, it might not just be a habit. It could be your body's quiet message urging you to take a closer look at your health. Don't ignore it. Don't fear it. Instead, take this as an opportunity to reassess your well-being, build healthier routines, and adopt a proactive mindset. Regular checkups, balanced living, and mental awareness are all tools that can help you protect the most valuable asset you have, your health. Sleep should be a sacred time, a space for the body to rest, heal, and reset, not a source of confusion or fear. When you learn to care for it properly, you're also investing in a healthier, sharper, and more fulfilling future.